and check it out. This could be your year. Make 2005 something good for you. Train smart with flavour.
Hip hop is, to me, is like, it's like an intangible. People always say, you know, hip hop is breaking, graffiti, art, MCing, DJing. This is true, but I think it's an actual thing. It's a true and living being that is actually going to do whatever it likes.
I guess one of the biggest impacts that hip hop has had on the Samoan and Pacific Islander cultures is that it's given a voice to previously young people that didn't have a voice, who kind of had to be somewhere in order to be heard. But with hip hop was created, and it just fits all these indigenous models around the world. It's beautiful. Well,
when you look at our culture, it is an oral tradition, and so we were never a people to write things down, and so to say things, to express our culture, to express our beliefs orally is what we have always been. And so it is quite logical that, you know, in really traditional forms, in terms of Māori, we've had more teatea, we've had a lot of traditional experiences of explaining where we come from, our beliefs, you know, political. It's really appropriate in a Māori situation to say things that are quite challenging, to be conscious, to make political statements on a marae.
Coming from a culture that's very big on appropriation, you know, one of many cultures around the world to get colonized. And so we've become equally adept at appropriating other cultures, and hip hop's no different. So we will gladly take the, you know, the baseball caps, the basketball singlets, but we'll mix them with our own style, because, you know, we do have to be true to where we're from. And so I'm wearing a
Lava.
singlet with
Let me see, Exhibit A, Oscar.
Lava.
And a jandal.
And jandals that cost 7 tala, which is probably like $2 US. But yeah, it's just and you see that a lot in fashion, eh? It's nice, like it's like they're taking the African American stylings and interpreting that in a Pacific flavour.
If we look at hip hop culture as a whole, that's just such a small part of it. I think that the positives that we give to the culture, like almost spiritually and culturally, outweigh the small amount of fashion victimization that we've become. But yeah, it's kind of like personally, I think that fashion wise, the Americans, like, I'm just talking clothing, I'm not talking about jewelry, but fashion is quite vibrant. So I personally don't have a big problem with it.
I think here it's more of an expression in terms of your traditional culture, in terms of where we come from, and we use that as a means to talk about that a lot more. But that's something that's grown and changed, because you just never used to see people wearing tamoko as much as you do now.
Tatau is actually, tattoo is quite unique in that it's one of the few words in the English language contributed from the Polynesian language, and, you know, it's from tatau, tattoo. So, you know, because tattoos are also big in hip hop, we've got our own tattoos and our own kind of markings that we like, and so it's all happily married and merged. I think I've done quite well today.
I think
I've done really well.
I think you have. I think you're like Exhibit A, Oscar.
I dressed at 5 in the morning too.
Here's the meld, a masala of Polynesian and American influence.
A lot of our culture is handed down from our parents, so it's this long line, but hip-hop culture is something unique to the young people that they have and they own, that they can reinterpret. A lot of people don't realise where a lot of the original hip-hop things came from, but it doesn't seem to matter as much.
The underground used to be based on values, but now it appears that the underground is based on values, but also it's almost like a pigeonhole created by a visual image of it.
It's always interesting to see where your hip-hop's going, and I think especially in our little corner of the South Pacific, it's really come on leaps and bounds as the young artists have kind of embraced their own origins a lot more.
when you get a crossover artist like Scribe, it's really interesting. I think he's going to be a really good indication of where we go for New Zealand hip-hop, because he's getting international recognition and then international money that should, of course, come with it. He also is appealing to a really wide range within New Zealand. I don't think that kids who aren't Māori or PI feel at all distance from him. They feel like they relate to that song just as much as anybody. So it is really unifying in that way. And I guess he's someone who will show that how you combine international success in this country. I just don't believe when you come from a place like ours, first generation New Zealanders, come from, migrated from Samoa, say like Scribe, first or second, then you still have a sense of being down to earth that you just don't have if you are so disenchanted from your culture.
We're lucky because we have a culture that goes back thousands of years that we are in touch with, that will always be the springboard, I think. And in terms of, the communities where we come from, I think that's what provides the real hunger and the real creativity, as you're saying.
Fundamental to our community and our friendships and our family, whānau, etc., are those three things. So those three things exist within the culture here because that's what we do.
We have people like Scribe, like Savage, for our young people to aspire to. There's just going to be a whole new generation, and they are just going to launch something
Rock
huge.
this world.
Rock that party.
Aotearoa hip-hop is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. At some point, I kind of think it's going to cap itself and just calm down. And I think you'll see another new movement of especially, we're talking about music right now, but especially artists and MCs, there's actually a new generation of people, and they're nearly upon us. I think that we've just seen the beginning of it with the Fast Crew, Misfits of Science. They humble to a certain extent, who's actually been in the game for a while. And this is the head of the body of huge generation of people. However, these new people have different ideas about hip-hop. Like, they look at hip-hop and they're like, I play them a song and they're like, I have no idea what this song is. It's like, this is the foundation of hip-hop. They don't have the same values. It's kind of weird, and I think that we have a job as preservation of like the originators of this culture. But like I said, I kind of think hip-hop will kind of do whatever hip-hop wants to do, and it's a little scary.
Ladies and gentlemen.